Hi everyone, today we're at Fountains Abbey in North Yorkshire and we'll be visiting the whole of the Abbey site, the surrounding countryside and deer park, along with the UNESCO World Heritage listed Studley Royal Water Garden. The huge Fountains Abbey and Studley Royal site is close to Ripon in North Yorkshire, and it's one of the biggest National Trust properties in the country. There's absolutely loads of parking set across 3 car parks, with lots of EV charging points, motorcycle parking, and parking for bicycles as well. Today we're starting our visit at the main car park, which is where the visitor centre and the main restaurant and shop are located. If you haven't visited before, you can easily spend the whole day here. There's several options of places to buy food and drink, or you can just bring your own picnic and eat it anywhere you want around the site. There's plenty of benches and seats. Parking's free at the main visitor centre area, and you can actually use the café and restaurant and the shop without paying to enter the site. The main cafe restaurant usually opens about half an hour before the ticket gates open. There's loads of seating available at that time in the morning, but it does fill up a bit during the day. But there's indoor seating, outdoor space, a dedicated area for dogs, and a lovely cosy corner with a log burner. Fountains Abbey is absolutely fantastic for families. There's so much space to run around, really great play areas, and most of the paths are suitable for pushchairs. We start to get glimpses of the Abbey as we head down to Swanley Grange. Swanley Grange was a farm that provided food for the monks at the Abbey and also provided a source of income by selling the wool from the sheep that were kept there. Fountains Abbey became one of the largest and wealthiest monasteries in the country. The footpath from Swanley Grange Farm takes us down the hill to the Abbey itself. And this is where we can really get a sense of how big the Abbey was when it was intact. The River Skell that runs through the Fountains Abbey site was absolutely essential to the day-to-day life of the Abbey, its farms, and also to power the mill, which we'll see a little bit later in this video. The history of the abbey on this site goes back almost 900 years. It was a Cistercian monastery established in 1132. Although the abbey was ruined after the dissolution of the monasteries in the 1500s, enough remains to make it quite easy to imagine how the monks and lay brothers would have lived and worked here. At its peak in the 13th century, there were around about 1,200 people living here. The original abbey church on this site would have been made out of wood and was probably 2 stories high, but it was quickly replaced by this stone building. If you're finding this video useful, it would be great if you could give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel so we can keep making these videos. The Porter's Lodge was the original gatehouse to the site and the visitors' centre, where anyone important would have arrived and local poor people would have gathered outside waiting for free food from the monks. These days, there's a really interesting exhibition inside which tells the story of the abbey and the grounds. It's also where the guided tours start from. This beautiful home, Fountains Hall, was built on the site in the 17th century. It was partly built using stone from around the ruined abbey and estate. The furnishings inside the hall give a hint at what life would have been like here at different times during its history.
We are going to persevere as far as we can to the best of our ability, which is not small and always growing.
And it tells the personal stories of the families that lived here. There are 2 lovely garden areas just across the footpath from the hall. Disabled access to Fountains Abbey is via the West Gate, which is just next to Fountains Hall. This is where you can pick up a powered wheelchair or a mobility scooter, which you can reserve in advance. You can even stay on site if you book the National Trust accommodation. There's a couple of lovely cottages and also some flats in Fountains Hall. Aside from the Abbey itself, the other place you'll want to spend a lot of time during your visit is the Studley Royal Water Garden. It's the water garden that actually carries the UNESCO World Heritage status. Here the River Skell has been channelled into canals, cascades and these lovely moon ponds. The waterside walk is dotted with classical statues. The landscaped water gardens and the follies that are dotted around it were designed in the 18th century by the wealthy landowners that came to own the site. Some of the buildings in the water gardens we use for entertaining, like the Banqueting House. Some of the other structures were just built for fun or as a show of wealth. If you want to see the water gardens from a different perspective, take the steep path up to the woodland walk. This wooden building hides one of the best views in Yorkshire. We're back alongside the River Skell now, at the mill. The mill was built by the Cistercian monks in the 12th century to grind grain to feed the monks in the monastery. Grain was still being milled here until 1927. There's a permanent exhibition and items on display downstairs, and this upstairs space is often used for temporary exhibitions. There's a cafe and a takeaway kiosk right next to the mill, so you can always grab a coffee or a cold drink and have a wander around whilst you look at the exhibits. The huge deer park is home to 3 different types of deer: red deer, fallow deer and seeker deer. If you're lucky, you'll see all 3 roaming on the estate. If you visit the deer park, see if you can find these 2 ice houses, which were used in the 18th century to keep food and drink cool. There's car parking at the deer park, and you don't have to pay the Abbey entrance fee to access the deer park or to walk in the surrounding countryside. Dogs are welcome, as long as you keep them on the lead. The 7 Bridges Walk connects the Studley Royal Water Garden to the deer park and the surrounding countryside. There's currently a charge to park at the deer park, although access to the park is free. The white building that you can see across the lake here is the entrance into the Studley Royal Water Garden. This entrance is going to be closed from autumn 2026 through to summer 2027. The whole site is huge, but fortunately there's a free visitor minibus that will pick you up and take you to different parts of the site. It's a short and scenic ride, back up the hill past the church and past some more of the holiday accommodation to the visitors centre. If you've enjoyed this video, it would be great if you would give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel.